All right, guys, welcome back. David with the Herald Group. We are back on aceable.com's Introduction to Modern Real Estate Practice, the first chapter in their online real estate agent education course. And we are on chapter 9, last chapter in the first section of the course. So the light of the first tunnel, we can see it. Let's get started with the Texas Real Estate Commission and licensing requirements.
Chapter 9. The Texas Real Estate Commission and licensing requirements.
All right, guys, chapter 9. Lots of info in chapter 9. Everything we learned was about who needs a license to do what. I'm just going to do some reading here because it's the fastest way to get it done. You need a license if you're selling real estate in Texas, including license holders from other states working with license holders who are in Texas, showing a listing of a broker or licensed sales agent, supervising licensed people, trying to acquire or negotiate a listing in Texas, a business entity receiving income from a real estate transaction, handling the funds in property management, acting as an apartment locator, and receiving valuable consideration while renting out someone else's property. So those are all things, if you're doing those in Texas and receiving compensation, you have to be a license holder. What can you do without a license? So once you have a license, none of these things really matter, but in the meantime, what can I do without a license? I can buy or sell my own property. I can sell a portion of a property I own to someone else. A business entity that is selling or leasing property they own, not required to have a license. A real estate association or a multiple listing service that does not receive a portion of the commission upon a closing of a transaction. An auctioneer is taking bids on a property as long as they don't receive a commission on those bids. An employee of a real estate office or sales agent that confirms information the caller was asking about. Generally, a licensed attorney and public officials carrying out their duties are exempt from these requirements, and a person is selling or leasing their own or someone else's property without compensation. Another section we went over were the moral character requirements. And this is really important because there's a lot of things that may have happened in your life that could preclude you from having the license. So before you get too far along in the process, they've got a form you can fill out and a checklist. And if there's a number of those things that you check off, it could preclude you from getting your license. There's no reason to waste your time. A few of the items are pleading guilty or nolo comprende for certain crimes, failing to complete the requirements of parole, supervised release, probation, or community supervision, giving false or misleading information to the commission as part of your application, having a previous disciplinary action against a professional license, real estate, or others in any state, practicing without a license in the state, violating Trex rules or breaking Trello rules, failing to pay a fine or judgment, or failing to provide more information about their character or past within 60 days of being requested by the commission. So just make sure, look at the requirements. If you're concerned, you can call Trek. I've called them a few times during my process. They've been very helpful. They pick up the phone right away. I use the word nolo comprende. You may not have heard that term before. And in case you've never heard it, nolo comprende is a plea in a criminal court where the defendant accepts the punishment but does not plead guilty. So you're saying, I'm not saying I didn't do it, I'm not saying I did do it, but I'm willing to take the punishment so that we can move on with our lives. Okay, that's chapter 9. We're ready to move on to the section review, and then we'll take our final exam. Let's continue the journey.